Hello everyone, welcome to Swan Lake Lifestyle. My name is Olivia and I'm a lifelong ballerina and classical musician. If you want to learn how to dance ballet with no experience necessary, then you're in the right place, as this is my completely free beginner ballet course. Now this is not the first video in this series, and each video does build upon each other. So if you are here for the very first time, I recommend that you go to my channel and go to the playlists and start from the very beginning at lesson 1 so that you know where to begin and so that you don't get lost in this lesson. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So in this class today, we are going to be learning about grand plié, battement dégagé, and piqué. These are some really great moves and really great for your foundation as a dancer. So let's go ahead and get started. I think the first thing that we should really cover in ballet is, again, building off of the concept of things being symmetrical. So in our previous lesson, I taught you about how if we're doing something to the right side of the bar, we have to go ahead and turn towards the bar and do something to the same for the left side. So in a similar fashion, we have what's called en croix in ballet, which means like a cross, which means that you will do the motion with your working leg to the front, to the side, to the back, and then to the side again. And then you typically close, and then you go ahead and you do the left side. And when you do the left, you do with the working leg a motion to the front, so devant, to the side, as con, to the back, devant, and then, sorry, derrière, and to the side, à la seconde, close, and then you're done with your exercise. If we think of ourselves as like a plus sign, so I only taught you how to do a tendu to the side and a tendu to the front, but you can also do a tendu to the back. So when you're doing a tendu or any motion with your working leg to the front, that's called devant. So in French, that means to the front, devant. If you're doing anything to the side, whether it's the right side or the left side, same thing for the front. If it was for the right or left, doesn't matter. It's devant. If you're doing anything to the side, it's called à la seconde, or it is what it sounds like, à la second, like you're doing something basically to the second. If we are doing a tendu to the back, which will look like this, that's tendu derrière. So when you're doing that something to derrière, you want to make sure that your leg, kind of how I was telling you in the earlier videos of how your turnout, you want to focus on turnout. Like if you're doing a tendu à la seconde, you don't want your leg to be turned in this way, you want it to be turned in that way to the best of your ability. I know that it's hard when you're first learning. Same for tendu front, you want your calf to be facing this way, not down, okay? When you're doing something to the back, in a similar fashion, you want to make sure that your toe is dragging across the floor and that your knee is facing out this way. It's not facing down like this, okay? You want it facing out this way to the best of your ability with the rotation that you have at this moment. So this is just something very important to keep in mind, especially if you're going to be going to a dance class in person and your dance teacher is talking about, oh, like tendu devant, tendu à la seconde, or saying like tendu plié en croix. And maybe the teacher will say that, and then the students will know, okay, if we're doing a tendu plié en croix, that means we're going to do tendu plié, tendu plié, tendu plié, tendu plié, then to the left, tendu plié, tendu plié, tendu plié, tendu plié, because that is tendu plié en croix. So it's kind of like a quick way of saying this is the pattern that we're going to be working in, okay? So I think that is something very important to get down, and I feel like isn't necessarily explained too much, especially to beginning dancers. So I'm glad that we can cover that now, and if you have any questions about that, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to help you out. And then let's see, so we have that down. Now, I wanted to teach you about battement dégagé. So what's interesting about this move is that it's called other things in different styles. For example, in Russian style, it might be called battement jeté. French style might be called battement glissé. But for the sake of this video, we will call it battement dégagé. When you're doing a battement dégagé, it's basically like the next level of a tendu. So look at you guys, already leveling up. So when you do a tendu to the right, we're going to have our right leg out here, our left arm out here, right? And we're going to just slide the toes, point the foot. Imagine that you're like drawing a line into the floor. Now, when you do a battement dégagé, devant, to the front, what you're doing is you're going to brush the foot along the floor like you would in a tendu, but you're going to lift the foot up. So it's going to look like, I'll just put my hand on my hip for now. It's going to look like this. And you want it to be like a low angle. You don't want it to be super high. You don't want it to be like all the way on the floor. But we want it like maybe like a 45, a little bit like a lower angle. Okay? Now you want to make sure that your hip is not up, it's not down. You want to literally, as if you're standing in your first position, just leaving your hip there, brush the leg up. Okay? Keep your leg straight, point that toe. So we're here, we're in our first position, battement dégagé. And closing is called fermé. So we're going to fermé. We're going to close. Okay? So we did that. So that's battement dégagé to the front, devant, battement dégagé. If you want to do a battement dégagé to the side, à la seconde, you're going to simply just brush your foot, your toes, as if you're going to be doing a tendu to the second, to the side, but lift it up as well. And again, you don't want your foot to be, here in space. You don't want it to be like too far back. Literally, as if you're going to be doing a tendu, but lifting it up. Okay. So we're going to do battement dégagé à la seconde, the right foot. Now we will try battement dégagé to the back. Derrière. We're going to go battement dégagé. So again, remember when you do a tendu to the back, you're simply brushing your toes along the floor and pointing your toe, not squishing your toes into the floor. You want to just point your toe just enough. And when you're doing a battement dégagé to the back, you just simply brush up and leave it there. And you want to focus on keeping your knees straight. So if we were to do just a single battement dégagé en croix, this is what it would look like. And we're just not focusing on the arms now. We're just going to go like this. To the front and close. To the side and close. To the back and close. To the side and close. Same thing for the left. If we were to do a simple, just single battement dégagé en croix, remember that means like a cross. That means we're going to go devant and close. À la seconde and close. Derrière and close. À la seconde and close. Okay? So that was a simple battement dégagé en croix. I think it's also important that we can learn a fun little motion that goes along with the battement dégagé, and that motion is called a piqué. So piqué means to prick. Now we will be doing just a very simple piqué motion at the bar, but later on in your training, when you end up doing a piqué, that will be for piqué turns. So I didn't do a full piqué turn there, but this motion will help you when you are later on in your dance training be able to fully execute a piqué turn, which is really, really fun to do. So that's your little incentive at the bar, is to get this down very, very well and properly in proper form, so that later on in your training when you do your piqué turns, they can be perfect. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to start in our first position. We can go ahead and just have our arm opened up 2 seconds. And we're going to do a dégagé, battement dégagé to the front. Okay? Battement dégagé to the front. And to piqué, all we're doing is we're just going to go like this. So don't smash your toes into the floor and don't make it too light. But when you do your battement dégagé, you're going to keep your leg out here. And you just go, you just touch your toes to the floor like this. And again, you don't want your foot like this. You don't want it to be turned in. You want it turned out. Okay, so having your leg turned out, just do a little boop, little tap. So remember, it means to prick, so we're just going to do. And then we're going to fermer, so we're going to close. Okay? So same thing à la seconde for the piqué. We're going to do a battement dégagé, piqué, close in first. Now derrière, we're going to go back, piqué, and close. Now we're going to go to the side again, à la seconde, piqué, and close. Now let's go ahead and try that to the left side. So we'll just open up our arms a second. Battement dégagé, 1. Piqué, close. Battement dégagé à la seconde, 1. Piqué, close. Battement dégagé to the back, 1. Piqué, fermé, which means to close. À la seconde, 1. Fermé. Okay? So that is how you do a piqué at the bar. And I also want to teach you how to do a grand plié. So to do a grand plié, it kind of takes in the concepts of a plié, which is what we were doing earlier. Specifically in the previous lesson, we were learning demi-pliés, which is just to bend your knees slightly. And a grand plié is a type of plié where you bend your knees not as much as you can, but you bend them a lot. So, for example, a grand plié in first position will be when you're in first position. Okay? And we can just put our hands on our hips for now. We don't have to get fancy with the hands. I'm just going to drop my hand down here just to make things easier. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're just bending our knees and we're coming down here. And your legs, your feet are going to be in a relevé. And you're going to come back up into a demi-plie, which is like the pliés we were doing in the previous video, and then straighten your legs, okay? So when you put it all together, you're just going to just plie, 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 and then come back up. So when you're doing that, it reaches a certain point in your demi-plie where it's about here for me, where I have to put my feet into relevé. Now, some common mistakes in grand plie is, well, there's a few different mistakes that people can make. And it's fine, people make mistakes, but what's important is correcting them, right? So you don't want your legs, when they're out, to be too far in, too far out. You don't want your knees to be down or knees to be too high up. You really want to be level. And that's a very common theme in ballet, is just being level with things, okay? So we're going to do our little grand plie with our hands on our hips. We're going to keep the knees out in our demi-plie, bring the heels up. Keep center. You don't want to be moving forward or back. You want to keep your weight center, knees out. Come back, put your heels on the floor, come back up, okay? So that is a grand plie in first position. Now you can do grand pliés in other positions. A second position grand plie, let's say we're in second position, you do not have to bring your heels off the floor. So what you're doing is simply just bending all the way down so that your knees are about parallel to the floor and coming back up. You want to keep your posture straight, core engaged, just down and up. Make sure your weight's in the center of your body. If you're doing a grand plie in third position, your heels will come up off the floor. So we'll go ahead and do this again. So we'll do grand plie. Make sure your knees are out, your back and everything is straight. Come back up. Fourth position, grand plie, same thing. Fifth position, grand plie, same thing. Okay, you can go ahead and do that to the other side as well. So go ahead and do first position, grand plie. We'll just put our hands on our hips. Grand plie. Second position, remember your heels don't come off the floor for this one. Just grand plie. Go ahead and do a third position, grand plie. Do a fourth position, grand plie. Do a fifth position, grand plie. All right, so you've officially learned grand pliés, our combination. Let's go ahead and learn this one. So we will be doing combination en croix. So again, that means like a cross. So front, side, back, side. And what we will be doing is we will be doing dégagés and piqués. We'll throw in a little grand plie too. So let's go ahead and do, we'll do in first, just to keep things simple. We'll do a little breath of the arm. So preparation, hands and arms in second position. We'll do dégagé and close. Dégagé and close. Dégagé, piqué, close. Dégagé, close. Dégagé, close. Dégagé, piqué, and close. Dégagé, close. Dégagé, close. Dégagé, piqué, and close. Dégagé, close. Dégagé, close. Dégagé, grand plie, up, and close. So we did our dégagés en croix, but for the last one we didn't do the piqué. We're going to go into a grand plie just to practice that motion. And also I feel like it's a bit of an easier grand plie to do because we aren't having to put your feet in relevé when you reach the bottom of the grand plie. So I definitely recommend that you practice those grand pliés in other positions. So you can go ahead and rewind the video and now or later on and practice those different grand pliés. But for the sake of this combination and keeping it to a beginner level, I want to make sure that we do just a simple grand plie so that you don't get overwhelmed with what we're working on, okay? So again, we'll go over the combination. We'll do preparation and close, and we'll go 1, dégagé 2, dégagé 3, piqué, and close. 1, 2, 3, piqué, and close. 1, 2, 3, piqué, and close. 1, 2, 3, and close. Okay, so do that to the left. Preparation 1, 2, 3, piqué, and close. 1, 2, 3, piqué, and close. 1, 2, 3, piqué, and close. 1, 2, 3, grand plie, and close. Okay? So something to keep in mind when you're at the bar and you're using your supporting leg and your working leg is off the floor. You don't want your hips to sit down like this. I do, whenever I do, just a quick disclaimer for my corrections here, I always over-exaggerate them so that you can really get an idea of what I'm talking about. I know that majority of the people aren't going to be sitting like this, but it's for you to really internalize and visualize in your head. If you're slightly like this, it's not good, okay? Remember, we want to keep our hips square. So we're facing our shoulders front, our hips front, square, and we have our working leg going, and our supporting leg will be turned out. Again, you don't want to be sitting like this or any weird way. You want your hips to be as square as possible and facing forward, okay? All right, so I think we are ready to go ahead and try with music. So let's go ahead and get ready for this performance of this lesson. Can you believe it? You're already dancing even more. So I'm really excited. Let's go ahead and get this going. Good job, everyone. I'm so proud of you. We are learning so quickly, and I'm so happy that you're here and along for the ride. If you have any questions at all, please let me know, and I'll just be happy to give as much feedback as I can. If I missed anything, I want to make sure that I help as much as possible. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't yet, please subscribe, like, turn on the notifications, and feel free to share this with a friend who would also enjoy these classes. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, and I'm very excited to see you again in the next episode. Catch you later.